Good morning. This is Mary with Mary's Blue Door, and I have decided to do a video blog this month. Just change it up. We're changing everything else, so why not change how I do my blogs? I love to talk, and this morning I just feel inspired to do that. I'm sitting out in my back garden. I've redone my furniture, and the whole place just feels like it got a facelift, and I'm super excited to be out here. And the topic of my blog this morning is really focused on our thoughts and how what we focus on is really, really vital. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't say that as a way that we have to police our thoughts all the time. But when we have an awareness of how the brain works and how our behaviors are maybe sabotaging us or reinforcing worry cycles. When we have that awareness, then we can step back, and now we have the tools to stop it when we know what's going on. So I did a blog a few months ago. It was called Fact Over Fiction. And it was really about how our subconscious brain works. And the way it works, in summary, I'm going to give you the 30-second version, is there is a part of our brain brain stem called the reticular activating system, or the RAS for short. The layman's version is like a filter. We get something like 40 billion bits of data every second, and our brain just can't process that, our conscious brain. So what happens is the subconscious brain looks at all of that data and it decides what information to give our conscious brain. And it chooses information based on what it thinks we want to hear. Now, the job of the subconscious is to keep us feeling safe, right? So it wants us to stay in our comfort zones. It wants us to feel reassured all the time. So it doesn't really differentiate between what's good, less necessarily for our mental health, and what's bad for our mental health. But what it will do is if our subconscious brain picks up that we're reading a lot of stuff about COVID, let's say, why not? Why not talk about it? The elephant in the room. If we're reading a lot and being inundated with constant input on the deaths and the suffering and the overwhelm and all that is going on, all the negative impact of COVID, and there is a lot. I'm not minimizing that in any way. There is a lot. But if we spend a lot of our time focused on that, our brain thinks we want to hear even more. And so then every second, as our brain is scanning the 40 million bits of data that it's getting in every moment, it is picking out data related to COVID that it thinks we want to hear. So then we're attracting even more COVID. It's not attracting isn't really the right word, but our brain is focusing on that. It's seeing that. And what's happening is it's skipping over all of the other information that's out there, all of the other great things that are going on. And yes, COVID is real, and COVID has impacted a lot of people in very harshly. And my heart breaks for that. But it doesn't behoove the rest of us to get caught up in that fear to such a degree that we become, worry infested ourselves, and become fixated. That's the word I'm looking on. Fixated and obsessed with it and what's going on. Because in a large part, we don't have control at what's going on a governmental level. We don't have a lot of control over what's going on a global level. What we do have complete control over is how we respond to it. So when we can start to see that what we're feeding our brain is going to keep perpetuating, then we can start to change what we're feeding our brain. So when you find yourself starting to go into overwhelm, first thing you could do, get off Facebook, turn off your notifications, even delete it from your phone if needs be, if that needs to happen. And even, not forever, do it for a few days and notice what happens. Do you feel different? Do you feel better? And if you do, then I would urge you to continue with that, because, we all want to be right. But what we really want is to be happy. And the moment it feels good to be right, well, I'm going to do this research and I'm going to, get all the facts, and I'm going to argue my point, and I'm going to get everyone on my side, and I'm going to prove them all that I'm right. But really, what our bodies want, what our hearts want, what our souls want is to be happy. And being right and happy don't always come together. Or at least proving that you're right don't always have to come together. So that's my message for today, is really just to notice how are you feeling? What are most of your thoughts about? Are they about COVID, for example? Are you fixated on something? Are you worried about something? Are you in overwhelm and stressing yourself out more than you really want? Then it's time to really step back, examine the behaviors, examine the material that you're reading, that your brain is getting input from. Who are you talking to? What are your friends saying? What are your family saying every time you get together on Zoom? And then just, if there's anywhere that's sort of recycling that same information, just step back from it, even just for a few days, and notice what happens. I would love to hear from you and hear how that impacts you. Have a fantastic rest of your week and your day and your month, and I will talk to you very soon.